Hi Engineering Janta, I am Vaibhav Shukla and today we are going to discuss the optimized way of bubble sort. In the previous video, I have explained what bubble sort is, how it is implemented. If you haven't watched it, go ahead, watch it first and then come here. So, before I dive in deep in the optimized way of bubble sort, go ahead, follow our social media handles so that you never miss a hiring update. Also, top 3 comments get Prep Insta Prime subscription for free, so do not miss out on that chance. Now, I'll go ahead and first I'll show you what exactly was the problem in this particular code. Okay, look, this was the code that we discussed in the previous video. Now, this code offers order of n square complexity. Bubble sort is usually never regarded as a very good algorithm. The reason is it always offers order of n square complexity, but there is a certain way in which we can optimize it to an extent where it performs order of n in the case of sorted array. क्या बोल रहा हूँ समझाता हूँ सरल भाषा में. Wait. Consider this is an array 20, 30, 40, 50. Now this array is sorted, right? ये sorted array. अब problem क्या है? This solution will still give order of n square even for sorted array. Why so? First iteration will begin with this comparison, right? 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50. Now this will consider that 50 is at its correct place, as I told you in the last video, right? Now I will get incremented. First I was pointing here because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the indexes, and then in these indices I was pointing to 1. Now in the second iteration I will point to 2 here. So this will go on, this iteration will go on despite nothing happening in the array. Array is sorted, ये sorted है, उसके बावजूद ये पूरा दोबारा चलेगा. Okay, this whole will execute again and again. Despite no swapping happening, this whole array would be visited again and again, right? And that is of no use. That is of no use. And still it offers order of n square time complexity for a sorted array. पहले से sorted है, उसमें भी order of n square दे रही है, तो इससे गंदी algorithm क्या हो सकती है, isn't it? Now, how do you solve it? This is the correct way to solve it. This is a way of optimization in which, for the best case at least, you have order of n as your time complexity. How do you have it? I'll show you. Wait. See. Let's consider the same example. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. Not 1, 2, 3. Indices will start from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the indices, right? Now just carefully see what's happening here. You pass this array here, you pass 5 here because there are 5 elements here. Now what happens is, for the first iteration, you have a Boolean variable, okay? You mark it as false. We have a variable called as swapped. You mark its value as false. Now what happens? You go ahead and do the first iteration just like you did in the previous case. This is the same code. I have just added these 3 statements in your code and it has been optimized for the best case. I'll show you. See. Once we set it as false and we start iterating the array, see, j points here, I points here, right? And then you start comparing j and j plus 1, and this will basically go on till n minus I. It will go till n minus I. What is I? 1. N is 5. 5 minus 1 equals to 4. So basically it will iterate till this point. Whole array would be visited. Now you visit the whole array. If array of j, basically if this element is greater than this element, then swap. अब यहाँ पे greater है ही नहीं. Everything is sorted, so this swap will never execute. If it had been executed, the value of swapped variable would have been set to true. Now the true will never execute because it is already sorted. So when you come out of this loop, you have if swapped equal to false after the first iteration itself. See, once the first iteration happens, you have order of n and times you start visiting the array. For example, this will execute for order of n times, isn't it? Because each an element is being visited. Now, if swapped equal to false after the first iteration itself, when you have completed it from here, when you find that there is no swap happening, j is incremented here. Then no swap happens, j is incremented here. No swap happens, j is incremented here, and finally it stops. Okay, finally it stops here. Now when it stops here, you have visited the whole array because the comparison has been done in these two as well. The swapped equal to true, the swapped has never been assigned the true value, so this statement will never execute. Now when you come out of this loop after the first iteration, you have if swapped equal to false, break. Basically what it is saying is, if you have swapped as false, if this has not executed, the value of swap will still remain as false. If it is false, break, come out of the loop. Once you come out of the loop, what you have at your disposal is, you have if swapped is equal to false, you come out of this loop. For I, you basically come out of this loop, the whole program stops and you give out the result that is the array is sorted. अभी मैंने क्या बोला, सिंपल भाषा में ये है, this hasn't changed, ये execute नहीं हुआ, false ही है. If it is false, break, कोड से बाहर आ जाओ. कोड से बाहर आ गए, कोड बंद हो गया. For best case, sorted. For best case, only order of n complexity would work. Only one time this particular loop will execute and the whole program will stop if the array is sorted. So if only one time this executes, the value would be order of n for the time complexity. Okay, so this is how basically you optimize a particular bubble sort algorithm for the best case. But let me tell you one interesting trivia. Whenever it is a choice, never opt for bubble sort. ये कोई अच्छी algorithm नहीं मानी जाती है general cases में. There can be a possibility where you can apply bubble sort in very specific cases, right? That you have to think through. But generally इस algorithm को prefer नहीं किया जाता है, इसीलिए it is usually considered as one of the worst sorting algorithms. Okay, so do not go blindly behind bubble sort whenever you see it as an option. Just consider this कि ये best case में order of n perform कराने के लिए भी बहुत मेहनत लगती है इसमें. Okay, so be very careful about that. So that's all for today's video. If you feel that you learned something very interesting, something very cool, go ahead, share it with the people who need this information. Share it to your friends, to your peers, to your juniors, to your seniors, everybody. Okay, and before I wrap up, do not miss out on the golden chance of commenting, because that might land you a free Prep Insta Prime subscription. Also, these links, these social media links are basically for your help. So go ahead, follow them and keep doing good without any expectation. It will come back to you in multiplied forms. Okay, have a good day. Thank you.